For nearly 2 decades, Lady Louise Windsor existed on the edge of royal visibility, present, but rarely noticed. No spotlight. No headlines. Just a quiet distance from titles and attention. Until now. Something has shifted. Suddenly, the most overlooked figure is stepping into view, and what's happening behind palace walls is raising more questions than answers. Why her? Why now? And what does it reveal about the monarchy itself? To understand the surge of attention, you have to go back to the beginning. Because it didn't start smoothly. Louise was born on November 8, 2003, the first child of Prince Edward and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh. Her arrival came early, 2 months early, after a serious placental complication that put both her life and her mother's at risk. At another time, the story might have ended there. But it didn't. She survived, and from that point on, her life followed a different path than expected. Her parents made a decision early. A deliberate one. Their children would not be shaped into full-time royal figures. No constant appearances. No endless ceremonies. No pressure to perform for the institution. They chose something else. Distance from the system. A chance at something resembling a normal life, even within palace grounds. It broke with tradition. For generations, royal children had been positioned at the center, symbols as much as individuals. But Edward and Sophie stepped away from that model. And because of it, Louise grew up differently. Less like a figure of state. More like a child raised on a quiet estate. She attended a private school in Windsor. She developed a passion for competitive horse riding. Her world remained structured, but grounded. And for years, that was enough. Until suddenly, it wasn't. Eventually, she stepped into carriage driving, a sport so obscure most people wouldn't even recognize it. Yet somehow, she didn't just participate, she excelled. Quietly. Precisely. No noise, no headlines, just results. By every account, she was simply a serious, grounded young woman. No wild parties, no desperate chase for fame, no tabloid theatrics. While the world obsessed over her family, she moved in the opposite direction, choosing distance, choosing control, choosing to stay unseen. But silence is never the same as invisibility, and inside the palace, eyes were always on her. Louise occupies a strange, almost overlooked position in the royal hierarchy. As a granddaughter of Queen Elizabeth II, she was entitled to be Her Royal Highness. That title was hers by default. And yet, her parents refused it. So she grew up not as Princess Louise, but as Lady Louise. At the time, it seemed like a small, almost forgettable decision. In reality, it changed everything. It gave her something rare in that world, freedom. The freedom to choose, to step back, to become something other than what tradition demanded. Few noticed then. But some did. Certain senior figures within the royal circle were watching closely all along, especially one unexpected figure who would later become quietly significant in her life, Lord IVAR Mountbatten. A great-great-grandson of Queen Victoria and a distant cousin of the late Queen, IVAR stood apart from the institution in more ways than one. In 2016, he became the first member of the extended royal family to publicly come out as gay, an unprecedented move in a system known for resisting change. It set him apart. Quietly, but unmistakably. Today, he lives away from the spotlight at Bridwell Park in Devon, a vast private estate he restored over years. A world of quiet wealth, far removed from official ceremonies and flashing cameras. The kind of place where influence doesn't shout, it waits. A royal doesn't work. He avoids balconies and boring state dinners. Even so, he remains close to the family's inner circle, and his links are genuine. Edward and Sophie have maintained covert relations with Lady Louise's relatives out of the group for years. Edward and Lord IVAR seem to agree on royal life. They appear to agree that the institution should be smaller, privacy is important, and dignity doesn't require constant performance. People love to speculate if their chats were a plan. According to family sources, Lord IVAR has mentored Louise lately. He manages his royal name without ruining his life. He has found a way to be relevant and private enough to have a soul. Late 2024 reports say IVAR was active in her future talks behind the scenes. This purportedly included property, inheritance, and how she'll handle adulthood in that household. His stated involvement would only make sense if there was a gift, a property, and a prince willing to use his position to surreptitiously support his cousin's future, the estate at the center of everything. Wren's nest is rarely mentioned in royal coverage. It may not be as famous as Sandringham or as majestic as Windsor Castle, but royal property experts consider it one of the most sought estates. A historic property with deep roots, significant land, and subtle elegance for discreet royals. Wren's nest might be close to Windsor, and the other country notices. A house and farmland are on the working site, according to sources. It's not crown property. Instead, it is in a private trust that lets the family relocate properties without public scrutiny. It is a luxury hand-me-down that is not recorded. I find it amusing because agricultural elements is usually euphemism for a very expensive garden that helps them claim a tax benefit while passing homes around like trading cards. The name sounds fairy tale-like. A wren is a little, noisy bird, and many debate if its name is symbolic or archaic. Louise getting Wren's nest is great for story fans. Some think inheriting a simple residence was a staged conclusion for the royal who wasn't noteworthy. It's presumably what the previous owners called it. According to sources who whispered to royal reporters, Louise chose this residence before her engagement. A girl in her situation deserves her own space. It was meant to provide her independence so she wouldn't live with her parents or rely on a future husband. Apparently, the idea was to give her roots, which is poetic code for a huge piece of land to herself. The most astonishing element of the narrative is who decided to provide this present and how Prince William and Lord Ivar collaborated. Prince who planned everything. Prince William isn't low profile. As heir to the throne, the media follows him like a crime scene. According to insiders, William has been planning the extended family's future. Lady Louise appears to be key to that plot. Finding ways to keep the family relevant without falling apart is more important than secret gatherings. The William-Louise relationship isn't headline news. They're different ages and rarely seen together. However, sources say the prince has always admired Edward and Sophie's parenting. He enjoys seclusion and that the kids kept their personalities despite the palace lifestyle. Now that Louise is an adult, William purportedly cares about her future. She is said to be the right low-key, capable princess for his goal of a smaller, less bloated monarchy. His oddly perfect location facilitated the supposed partnership with Lord Ivar. He's trusted by the family and knows all the irritating royal property specifics. He's dealt with palace red tape enough to know how to get things done quietly. On paper, William and Ivar don't go together. But William is reportedly far more calculated than he appears. Insiders call involving Ivar in Louise's future discussion smart. Private meetings between William, his crew, and Ivar allegedly followed. They even summon palace officials who manage hidden financial accounts and private estates. We wanted Louise to have money and a home before getting married. They wanted her to have her own foundation so she wouldn't be stuck if her personal life struggled. Apparently, calling this a wedding gift was wise. It gave it a festive feel no one would question. It followed royal traditions too. This manner, they could make the house handoff seem like a nice family moment rather than a deliberate wealth transfer. Using a wedding as a pretext to hide family gesture paperwork and tax breaks is unmatched. People close to the talks believe the timing was deliberate and that the present symbolized Louise's future. Wedding that changed calculations. Nobody discussed Lady Louise's dating life for years. Her family rarely kept the journalists away, but her parents did. By 2024, reports circulated about her significant relationship. The palace apparently planned for her to grow up and marry after hearing rumors of a wedding. The boyfriend's details are harder to find than a working royal. According to sources, the partner isn't a snob or aristocracy. He understands her stress and gets along with her family. Edward and Sophie apparently support it. William's apparently raced to provide Louise her own property and accelerated his finances after learning of the nuptials. Wren's Nest's deal seems to coincide with the wedding announcement. Family members say the house was given away to ensure Louise didn't start a marriage broke. The goal was to give her leverage and a space before signing legal contracts. She wanted a backup plan in case her marriage failed. Nothing screams, "I trust this relationship," than giving the bride a house to hide from the divorce lawyers. Truly romantic. This plan apparently includes Prince William and Lord Evil Mountbatten, surprising royal observers. This pairing suggests that there may be more to it than family feelings, and the answer would be more nuanced than thought. Royal succession whispers, nobody speaks. The tale gets odd here. Recent palace speculations go beyond bricks and gardens. These arguments seem to be concerning Lady Louise's role in crown survival. What the monarchy looks like after the present generation leaves depends on current decisions. It's more of a frantic attempt to plan for the future than a gift. Prince William wants to chainsaw the family tree. He wants to reduce the operation to a few workers to prevent appearing like a huge taxpayer waste. Harry has left, and Andrew is cornered. Most extended family is waiting to become irrelevant in a few years. Despite all this pruning, William is apparently handpicking a few lucky relatives to save instead of just throwing them away. Lady Louise made the final cut, say insiders. She doesn't pursue cameras, speak out, or strive to be a social media influencer. Her attributes make her ideal for William's new monarchy. He wants people who can attend events without scandalizing or embarrassing themselves. She's the only one without drama, therefore she gets the family name. This is particularly stranger due to Lord Evil rumors. As a Mountbatten, his presence adds historical baggage that the Windsor family drama can't equal. That family name had a tumultuous history before the current royals took over. This familial connection may have had a role in the house transaction, but royal symbol enthusiasts claim it was no coincidence. It's unclear what Louise wants from this. Her opinion has been ignored among all this debate about real estate, family politics, and long-term branding. Is she even interested in leading the monarchy's future? Can she accept a place like Wren's Nest with lifetime obligations? No one knows because she hasn't spoken. For now, she is a pawn in a game she may not want to play. The fact that they are being asked shows that the unassuming girl who was never supposed to matter has become one of the most crucial individuals in the future of the British monarchy. Gift, legacy, and future meaning. Lady Louise Windsor and the Wren's Nest Agreement demonstrate royal power. Not crowns or official pronouncements. Not public events or palace news drama. About land. What's passed down? Secret talks between prominent people who realize that royal influence is founded on land, legacy, and placing the right people in the right places at the right time. The palace hasn't spoken, and half of these rumors are unsubstantiated, so the situation is crazy if any of it is real. A future king and a rebellious cousin may have helped a girl who spent her youth hiding from the spotlight secure her future. A present that appears to be a familial gesture was actually a deliberate maneuver. It's not sweetness. About long-term planning. The late Queen was a master of stealthy power movements. She knew the crucial stuff happened off-camera. She knew that maintaining the family business required regular background adjustments to prevent the house of cards from tumbling. If William and Eva are actually helping Lady Louise, they're playing the same game. We won't understand their future bets for another decade. A property like Wren's Nest would be tremendous for Lady Louise. This girl struggled with health, grew up without a title, and spent her time at school and hobbies. If true, this house deal suggests higher-ups are finally paying attention. Her role isn't only background for photos. In their only way, the family shows her they care by giving her a firm foundation. It shows they value her long-term. Will Lady Louise Windsor become a prominent royal? Or is this a convoluted royal rumor?